Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat, battle for the semi-final electoral match before 2024 elections has started today, with voting taking place in Mizoram and Chhattisgarh. Mizoram, there are 40 assembly seats, and Chhattisgarh, there are 90 seats. But in Chhattisgarh today, it was the first phase of polling in 20 assembly seats. Now, if you look at the voter turnout figures which are there available up to 3 p.m., if you talk about Mizoram, it is 69.87%. That is a voter turnout till 3 p.m. And in Chhattisgarh, the figure till 3 p.m. is about 60.92. So what does this voter turnout indicate? What are the issues which have been highlighted in both states? What are the X factors and what do the trends show in both the states? I'm joined by a very special panel. Javed Ansari, senior journalist and editor, joins us. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. We have Sunil Kumar with us, who's the editor-in-chief of Daily Chhattisgarh. Thank you so much, Mr. Sunil. We have Samir Purkasta, who's the senior journalist who's been covering the entire Northeast for the Federal. Thank you so much, Samir. And I can see Professor J. Dongal joining us. Professor Dongal is with the Mizoram University with the Political Science Department. We're just waiting for him to connect the audio. But in the meanwhile, I'll just begin the discussion with Sunil. Sunil, if I can come to you first, of course, Chhattisgarh is everyone's is really waiting as to what's really going to happen in Chhattisgarh, given the fact that it's a Hindi heartland state, and of course we'll come to Mizoram as well. It's equally important, but what does the Chhattisgarh first phase voter turnout look like? Do you sense some kind of a change in the minds of the voters, given the fact that there was also an exchange of gunfire in the Naxalite region when the voting started today? Yes, Sunil.
First of all, let me update you. We have updated figures at 5 p.m. when the official time of polling is over. It is 70.87%, almost 71%.
Okay.
That's a huge figure. But let me tell you, this figure may increase because it is at 5 p.m. But the voters who have reached the booth, they would also get to vote after 5 p.m. So we can expect it to go to 70 plus. It has already crossed 70. The most noticeable thing which I would like to share with you very happily, you have spent some of the last few days covering Chhattisgarh, meeting people and talking to a number of people. So most interesting thing is Bastar, which is a Naxal affected, Naxal violence is there. A lot of gunfire had been taking place since this morning in some parts of Bastar. Not great casualty, but several people have got injured, probably a couple of deaths. And Naxal areas have witnessed a huge polling. Entire Bastar, I can read out different constituencies: 70%, 71, 79, 70, 62, right. 76, 77. These are the constituencies in Bastar. So tribal areas of Bastar, which had slightly shorter voting times, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So they have voted.
It's very clear that because of the exchange of gunfire, people didn't get scared. The voters came out in huge numbers and they voted. That's very evident.
You see, nothing unusual and extraordinary about gunfire taking place in those parts of Bastar. People have been witnessing it with poll or without poll. It's a daily affair there. So today, in spite of violence going on, in spite of Naxal threat that anybody found with polling ink on their fingers would be chopped off. This was the threat. It is the usual customary threat in every election. They have never done it. It is like a greeting card on Diwali. They send, they don't mean anything. So inside Bastar and outside Bastar, both sides, it is a huge polling, and which is a very welcome sign. And you see, some of the tribal Bastar Naxal affected seats have polled more than some of the non-Naxal outside Bastar seats, which is a very, very welcome sign. And these are the Naxal areas. which have been witnessing. One BJP worker was killed 3 days back. His body was chopped off into pieces by an ex by Naxals. So violence is not stopped altogether. I would like to point out one small thing quickly. This time there are 123 new villages which are polling in their own villages. They don't need to go out because polls have started in their villages. It is a huge success. And the security forces, government election commission taken together, they have extended, they have spread their network to a greater extent to the areas where just 4.5 years back, those areas were captured by Naxals in their control. There are still some parts of Bastar which are still in Naxal control, where polling booths could not be established. Nearest polling booth is some 50 kilometers away from some villages, because security forces are saying that in these 50 kilometers we don't have a security camp, we cannot protect polling party. Some booths are there, but a lot of improvement since last elections. So a huge success on both parts: election commission, government, security forces, and especially voters.
Absolutely, absolutely. So basically, the intimidatory tactics or to keep the voters indoors, that has not worked in Chhattisgarh. I'm also joined by Professor Dongle. I don't think his frame is stable right now. So in the meanwhile, I'll go to Samir Purkaistha. Samir, what does the voter turnout in Mizoram look like, and what do these signs really indicate as far as the polling in Mizoram is concerned? Yes, Samir.
Yeah, till 5 p.m. today, we got the figure of it's over 70%, and I'm quite sure, as figures from remote areas will pour in, it will definitely cross 80%. See, Mizoram, and it has been, as usual, very peaceful election. You might have seen the photographs where rest of India, where people queue up, stand up on the long queues. In Mizoram, they sit in a bench, patiently wait for their turn to vote. There is no justling and all these things. And even the campaigning in Mizoram is very different than rest of India, and it should be a model for the country to emulate. Because you see, during election there is no poster, banners, or even excessive use of loudspeakers, big rallies. All those are prohibited, and the credit for this clean and noiseless election goes to the Mizo People's Forum, which is the umbrella organization of several churches and civil society organizations, and also political parties. More importantly, because before the elections, all the political parties and candidates signed a memorandum of understanding, a kind of agreement with the MPF, that they will adhere to all this model code of conduct. Apart from election commission, of course, they do their job, but to supplement the election commission's effort, MPF, they put in they keep a watch on the entire process, and the political parties, more importantly, they follow it, because if you this Mizo society by and large has this very strict sense of discipline. Even in the traffic, you will see nobody unnecessarily honks or overtake you. They follow the queue. So that way, Mizo society is very disciplined society, and that also gets reflected in the election. So election process in Mizoram, it's generally very clean, and even people response to this thing, response to voting is also very they enthusiastically come out to vote. And this time also we hope that the polling percentage will definitely be over 80%.
Right. All right. Professor Dongle, I would request you to just stabilize your frame a little, because it's a little shaky. Are you getting my audio clearly? Professor Dongle, are you Are you getting my audio? Professor Dongle, you'll have to unmute yourself, I think. You're muted. Professor Dongle, can you hear me? All right. Okay. Now let me go to Sunil again. And before I come for the big national picture to Javed, Sunil, I would want to really understand from you that, of course, Chhattisgarh elections have been very important given the fact that Prime Minister Modi has visited the state. Then there has been a personality like Bhupesh Baghel. Now, do you think that this 2023 election of Chhattisgarh has really been very, very different from the ones which have happened in the past? And if you see the difference, what really is the difference you feel on the ground?
It is not much different from the election we had in 2018. But then these two elections taken together, outcome of the 2018 and the 2023 election taken together, these two are quite different from any other election before, for several reasons. One of the most important reasons is in 2018, Congress party had given in its manifesto a promise to waive off farm loans, which it did it in the first cabinet meeting on the first day in first hour. A big thing. In undivided Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, it had never happened. So it was a big deal. Then Bhupesh Baghel government had promised to give paddy procurement price, which was the highest in the country, much above the MSP decided by the central government. It did that also. And you see, since a parliament election was just 6 months away after Chhattisgarh assembly election last time, so central government did not stop Bhupesh Baghel from giving extra price more than MSP to farmers in first year. But next year, central government said to state government that if you would give an extra price on paddy procurement, we want to procure your rice, which was a big threat. And then Bhupesh had to design a strategy to give the surplus money to farmers in 2-3 parts, Rajiv Nyaya Yojana. This time, Bhupesh Baghel has again announced a farm loan waive off. But you see, quite interestingly, BJP, who had always been against giving more than MSP, announced it at 3,100 per quintal of paddy, which is a 900 more than central government's MSP, 900 more than 2,200 MSP of central government.
Right.
So it is clear, it buckled under Bhupesh government's performance in farm sector. It had to take cognizance how much support he had got last election. Huge majority, which even Bhupesh had not expected. They had claimed 55 seats. They had got 67. So it was like Congress Bhavan ka chhappar phad kar. The roof had collapsed.
But now, given the fact, Sunil, that BJP has already announced that it's going to pay 3,100 to the farmers per acre. So will that tilt the voters towards BJP, or do they still repose their faith in Bhupesh Baghel government, as the Congress campaign also says, Bhupesh hai to bharosa hai?
You see, even without going into Congress slogan, BJP manifesto, it got faded in 24 hours as if it was printed with a magical ink. It faded within a day because Bhupesh announced 3,200 instead of 3,100 of Congress BJP promise. So BJP has no other major promise, and Congress has promised many other things. So in manifesto, BJP has lost this election if manifesto is going to work, or just manifesto would be significant. Then BJP has lost this election, but that is not the case. There are several other issues. It is like religious and caste polarization. It is like so many corruption cases of state government which are being prosecuted in court, which are not lightweight cases, serious cases. Huge piles of documentary evidence is there against the corruption of this government. So all that is going to affect some or more extent. Then you see, after you left Chhattisgarh, ED is coming up with fresh cases, fresh details, more papers against Bhupesh government. Bhupesh in person. So that is all going to continue till 17th, when remaining 70 seats will go to poll. So everybody is expecting that ED would maintain its tempo till 17th, and there would be a fresh release of documents every 2-3 days. Then from some anonymous sources, there would be some sting operations, videos coming on Republic TV and several other favorable channels for the BJP. So nobody is expecting this election to be settled now. Everybody is expecting that it is going to be a competition of filled till 17th.
Right. All right. Now let me go to Javed now. Javed, what is the sense which you get,
May I suggest that you go to Professor Dongle?
Okay.
His audio, his video is...
Oh, Professor Dongle, can you hear me? Are you getting my audio?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, I was waiting for you, to stabilize the frame. But now, given the fact that the voter turnout has been...
Sorry, some problem in my connection. So
no problem, sir.
No problem. So, Professor Dongle, given the fact that there's been a huge voter turnout in Mizoram, what does it really indicate? I mean, people, are they happy with the government? They are in need for a change. What does it indicate, according to you? Especially the kind of issues which have been raked up in Mizoram, the shadow of Manipur, all that has been there on the Mizoram elections this time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nilu, in Mizoram, yes, we know there are 40 constituencies. And in these 40 constituencies, altogether, there are 174 candidates. And out of these 174 candidates, there are 16 women candidates. And these 16 women candidates, they contested from 18 constituencies. Some women, they contest in 2 constituencies. Some independent, unregistered party. Then independent candidates altogether, there are 27. And among the parties, so 3 national parties are contesting. Aam Aadmi Party contests 4 seats. Bharatiya Janata Party contests 23 seats. Indian National Congress 40 seats. And the regional party, the 2 regional parties, which are the main contenders which fight neck to neck in this election, Mizo National Front MNF and Mizoram People's Movement ZPM, they also contest 40 seats each. So the parties, the 3 parties which contest all the 40 seats are MNF, Congress, and ZPM. But the fight is, frankly speaking, neck-to-neck fight between MNF and ZPM. So, and in this regard, there are certain issues like there may be some anti-incumbency factor, infrastructure development, socio-economic development, and some other issues. But the main issues which attracts and which concern the voters this time is the suffering of the blood-related ethnic people across the national and international boundary in Burma, Bangladesh, and recently in Manipur. So the public is so concerned about it. Political parties are so concerned about it. And even in this coming election, it is one of the main issues of the election.
Right. So you very rightly pointed out that it's this identity issue that people probably would be coming together. Now I would want to come to Javed. You've just heard what the complete picture in Mizoram and Chhattisgarh looks like. What is the sense which you get? Of course, it's premature to say anything much about Chhattisgarh because just the first phase where 20 assembly constituencies are there, and the next phase, of course, is on 17th. But what you really feel is the big picture from Mizoram and Chhattisgarh, especially the 20 constituencies which we have seen gone for polling today.
Look, of the 20 that went to polls today in Chhattisgarh, the Congress had done the Congress had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 17 or 16 seats from this. So
19.
19
Congress is holding, only 1 with BJP in these.
So amazing. I don't know how much, conventionally, it would be very difficult to repeat this performance. But it will be very interesting to see how much of these can they retain. Will these be flipped? I was on another TV channel this morning, and there was a BJP spokesperson who claimed that the figure would be turned on its head this election. He meant that the BJP will sweep and the Congress would be happy if they get 1 or 2 seats. I don't know. All of you who have been there, you would know better. But retaining Chhattisgarh is critical for the Congress, because the Congress is banking on retaining power in Chhattisgarh and regaining power in Madhya Pradesh. Last time, if you remember, the Congress had won the elections until Mr. Jyotiraditya decided to defect, ditch the party that elected him, and he crossed over to the BJP, and the BJP stayed. So keeping in mind 2024, the next Lok Sabha elections will be 4 months, of at best 6 months down the line. It's critical for the Congress party to regain power in Madhya Pradesh and then hold on to power in Chhattisgarh, although that itself is not a guarantee in the Lok Sabha elections, because in 2019, although they swept they won these 3 states, they went and lost. They won just 1 seat. So therefore,
one in Madhya Pradesh, 2 in Chhattisgarh, 0 in Rajasthan.
So 3 seats out, which is a lot. And the Congress and the BJP are face to face. I mean, there is a direct contest. For the record, Mr. Akhilesh Yadav has also put up 79 candidates. The JDU has put up some candidates in Rajasthan. How many people have heard of JDU and their leaders in Rajasthan? That number may not exceed 62, but they have put up that 62 candidates. So that's another thing. So this is very critical. This is face to face, BJP versus Congress. The Congress has to hold its own in order to have a fighting chance come 2024. As far as Mizoram is concerned, well, we were talking of both the regional parties there. One party, which is almost certain to be a part of government, if not form the government on its own, is the BJP. And we know for reasons why. Even if they have 1 seat, they have 2 very strong allies sitting in Delhi who will ensure that these 2 parties, either of these 2 parties, whichever is in a position, will have to align with them. And Vasabi, traditionally, in these states, regional parties tend to go with, have in the past also gone with the party that is in power at the center for reasons that we don't need to elaborate at the moment.
Right, absolutely. So, Samir, talking about Mizoram, what about the absence of the Modi factor? We've also seen that Mizoram Chief Minister refused to share stage with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What about the Modi factor, which is so palpable and so missing in action, if I may call?
There is no Modi factor at all in Mizoram.
Okay, Professor Dongle, I'll throw this question at you. Yes, Professor Dongle. Yes,
Hello.
Professor Dongle. Go ahead.
Modi factor and Modi magic is totally absent in Mizoram.
Okay.
Because he planned to visit Mizoram, but why he can't share it? Because it will be a humiliating visit. Due to that, the visit was cancelled. And why? The people, as I've mentioned, the people of Mizoram are so concerned about the suffering of their blood-related kin across the national and international border. What is being done to the Zo-ethnic tribes of Manipur by BJP-led government? So the people's sentiment is hard. Because of that, Chief Minister Zoramthanga himself, for his survivor and for survivor of the party, and to heal the sentiment of his own people, he said that he will not share any platform with Modi. He will not share platform with Modi. And one thing is very clear now, both ZPM and MNF, they declare that they will not have any alliance with BJP. That is their standpoint. So both up till now, they keep distance from the BJP. But let the election result come, and after the declaration of election result, depending upon the political move, there may be push and pull, but what will follow that we don't know. But so far as the political situation in Mizoram is concerned, both ZPM and MNF, they distance themselves from BJP in the state politics. That's what I can say.
Right. But Samir, what do you think the contest in Mizoram looks like? Is it going to be like something like a cliffhanger, a very close and a tight contest between Mizo National Front and Zoram People's Movement? As what we are seeing, the regional parties, they are almost neck and neck, almost sidelining the national parties. Will there be a situation where either of the regional parties will be forced to have an alliance with Congress or BJP, depending on the numbers they have?
Mizoram politics was, since its inception of the state in 1986, was bipolar, basically between the MNF and the Congress. But since 2018, we are seeing that a space for third alternative is being created. And in 2018 election also, ZPM, though that time they contested as an independent, they did better than the Congress and they emerged as the second largest party. Then as the government, as it went on, by 2000, during the COVID, Zoramthanga government's handling of the COVID situation was not that effective, and it created a lot of resentment. And and so there were anti-incumbency and all these things. So at that point of time, many thought that BJP will be able to fill the vacuum for the third space, and none other than the then Mizoram Assembly Speaker Lalrianla Silo. He himself even suggested that MNF should merge with the BJP. Then this later on he himself had joined BJP just in the run-up to the election. Then another senior MNF leader, Keba Chuha, he also joined BJP. But then this Manipur happened, and the way both the BJP government at the center and in Manipur handled the situation, it completely changed the political scenario. And Zoramthanga, being a very shrewd and veteran politician, he immediately seized the opportunity and played the Mizo nationalist card very well. The way he came out to help the refugees who came from Myanmar. Then the way these internally displaced people from Manipur, they were given shelter. This kind, so this created, this could offset anti-incumbency to large extent, and brought MNF, to the race again. Before 2022 or during the COVID period, it was assumed that MNF might see a washout this time, like it had happened in 2003 when their numbers were reduced to only 3. But now the scenario has completely changed, and MNF is very much in the race. And then there is a strong competition for the opposition space between the Congress and the ZPM. Even the Congress, which was also, many thought that Congress will not be in the race this time. So after this Rahul Gandhi's visit, the response which it got, and feedbacks we are getting from the ground, that it has really made an impact, and people are now looking for the
Samir, so if I'm understanding your sense correctly, if there is a chance, you're saying that Mizo National Front is clearly in the race, and if Congress recovers from the loss or how the equations have been upset for the BJP because of the Manipur crisis, so there would be a chance where there is a likelihood that Congress and Mizo National Front might come together. Is that a possibility you see?
I'm coming there, and so this has made a scenario where for the first time it appears this hung assembly is very much possible. So
Okay.
in case of hung assembly, what happens? Now for the main contenders, as we see, and these are all hypothetical scenario, I'm saying that between MNF, the race will be between MNF, ZPM, and the Congress. BJP at best will be able to get few seats in the minority Chakma areas, this religious minority. So in Chakma areas there are 2 seats, or 1 or 2 seats in the Lai autonomous district council areas and Mara district council areas. These are ethnic minority areas where the Mizo pride is not as much palpable as it is in the Mizo heartland. So the BJP is main to contend the heavyweight candidate. Both Lalriala Silo, El Silo, and Dr. Bachua is contesting from that side. It's in the southern Mizoram. So at best they can get 3 seats maximum, not more than 3 seats. So in that scenario, what will happen? See, for MNF to ally with the Congress is very difficult. Because Congress is their traditional rival, and MNF technically is still the part of larger NDA alliance. They are, though Zoramthanga has said that he will not share the dais with Modi, but technically they have not severe ties with the NDA. So MNF is very much part of NDA as well as NEDA, Northeast Democratic Alliance, BJP-led Northeast Democratic Alliance.
Right.
But interestingly, in this time in the campaigning, neither Modi nor Amit Shah or even the convener Himanta Biswa Sarma campaigned in Mizoram. So the situation their friendship has come to that level. They are not willing to see eye to eye at least before elections, because anti-BJP sentiment is so high there.
Absolutely. To put things out very clearly, for Mizoram, of course.
No. With regard to the ground reality in Mizoram, there is unlikely of hung assembly. There can be hung assembly if the Congress perform better, but Congress is not that much in that position now, frankly speaking. Okay. And if Congress perform better, that means there may be chance of hung assembly. But if it is a neck-to-neck fight between ZPM and MNF, it is unlikely that there will be hung assembly. And with regard to the chance of BJP has no chance at all in the 2 seats of Lai Autonomous District Council. This I can guarantee.
Okay.
So in the other seat, the BJP candidate may lose security deposit also. Even if he does not lose, he will not be significant factor. And
all right.
BJP may get chance maybe in 1 seat in Mara Autonomous District Council, 1 or 2 seats. And in Chakma area also it is doubtful. That Chakma, the other one that is traditional Congress constituency, NK Chakma. Right. So it is that constituency has been rested by the family since his father's time. Right. So it is likely that this time also he may win it. But in the other seat, the prominent that BJP, the Congress defector who won election for the first time in Legislative Assembly in BJP ticket, Dr. B.D. Chakma, he is not contesting this time. Had B.D. Chakma been contesting, the picture may be different. But in the Chakma Autonomous District Council itself, there is MNF government. So in district council area, the ruling party at the district council has large impact. That's why there is a neck-to-neck fight. And with regard to the situation in Mizoram, one thing that I would like to tell you is that in the previous term in 2018, the then Speaker of Congress government let Hipei, as he was denied Congress ticket, he defected to BJP, then he contested in BJP ticket and he was defeated.
Right.
And the same history is repeated this time. So Lardin Lena Silo is denied MNF ticket, and the speaker is now contesting in BJP ticket again. So this is the trend. And with regard to the winning chance of Lardin Lena Silo also, he is trying, but let's see. And the BJP has professed that they have deputy chief minister candidate. Then the BJP is contesting only 23 seats. And as Samir has said, the maximum seat which they can expect is, BJP can expect is 3 seats, maybe less than that also. So that is the situation in Mizoram. So in this situation, it is unlikely that there will be hung assembly.
Right. So interesting battle playing out in Mizoram. But now I want to focus the rest of the time on Chhattisgarh, which of course is 90 assembly constituencies. Sunil, if I may come to you. Now, what are the issues? There are a number of issues like, Bhupesh Baghel has appropriated the Hindutva politics of BJP. He's almost carried the BJP's Hindutva to the doorstep of BJP. That is exactly what he seems to have done. Now, does that weaken BJP's chances in Chhattisgarh? Because BJP doesn't have its cow, BJP doesn't have its Ram, BJP doesn't have its politics of Hindutva, the banner in which Bhupesh Baghel has appropriated all of that. So does that make the fight very, very interesting, and there are chances of Bhupesh Baghel returning to power?
Bhupesh Baghel has kept a number of cushions, buffers this time to win elections. He has gathered more constituency of voters than needed, like a farm sector. Paddy procurement price is one, farm loan waiving off is another. These two are the main things. Then you see village women, they form self-help groups all over the state. Their loan is also waived off in this manifesto that amounts to as much as farm loan, 9,000 crore each. So it is huge. Some 20 to 24 lakhs women, they are involved in this self-help group, so they would be benefited. That is one. Another thing is a big agenda, KG to PG, all government education free, no education fees, no tuition fees, KG to PG. PG in engineering college, medical college, any school of government is totally free. That is a big commitment. 200 units of electricity is free to everybody. That includes a person like me. Everybody is going to get 200 units of electricity free. So more than half of the population doesn't consume more than 200 units. So for them, electricity is totally free. In addition to that, as if this is not enough, in addition to that, Bhupesh has stolen cow from BJP cowshed. He has taken it away. BJP cannot reclaim it because Bhupesh is taking good care of cow-related issues. I would not say he is feeding cow properly. I haven't seen his cowshed, but then he is handling the issue properly. He is buying cow dung and cow urine from whoever can bring it to the village self-help women's group. And then he is buying.
The manner in which Bhupesh Baghel has established his image almost as a Ram Bhakt in Chhattisgarh. Now, does that neutralize the politics around Ram as far as BJP is concerned? BJP's politics around Lord Ram?
Yeah, I have written it several times and I have said it on camera also that BJP is now B team of Hindutva in Chhattisgarh. And the Congress under the able leadership of Bhupesh Baghel has become the A team of Hindutva to the extent, and this point is slightly dangerous, that Bhupesh Baghel is overlooking interest of minorities in the state like Muslims and Christians. Violence against them is being overlooked by this government and Congress party. This is not the conventional and traditional Congress party. It is not its philosophy. I'm very sure Gandhi and Nehru sitting up there when they would discuss Chhattisgarh Congress, they probably would not approve any of this. That violence is taking place against Christians and Muslims, and this government is a silent spectator. So it is because it has become a silent spectator because
It's not a soft Hindutva, it's an aggressive Hindutva which BJP has adopted in Chhattisgarh.
it is actually a very special form of Hindutva other than soft and hard. It is a form of Hindutva which has learned to overlook its own governmental responsibility. It has learned to overlook minorities, violence against them, their wounds. So this is a pretty tricky. This is a very dangerous game to me, that to gain Hindu votes, Hindu confidence, Hindu majority, you are overlooking minorities to this extent. This is a dangerous game to me. I won't appreciate this form of Hindutva. I have been critical of this. So this is one. At the same time, BJP is also overlooking minorities as it had always been everywhere, almost everywhere. So minorities have nobody. They have become Mother Teresa's orphan children in the missionaries of charity. Both minority communities, they form a very small part of all minorities taken together are less than 4% of population in Chhattisgarh. So there is nobody to take care of them. BJP feels ki if even if they would offer their head, minorities are not going to vote for BJP. Congress feels even if their heads are chopped off by somebody, where else would they go? They cannot go to BJP. They have to remain loyal to us. If they want to keep BJP out of power, minorities are compelled and forced to vote for Congress, the party which can defeat BJP. So both parties, for their own reasons, can very conveniently overlook minorities. That is the very pathetic scene in Chhattisgarh.
Right. I want to take a comment from Javed also on this. That Javed, given the fact what Sunil has just said and what even I saw when I was touring across Chhattisgarh, that the manner in which Bhupesh Baghel has appropriated the politics around Hindutva, he proclaims himself as a Ram Bhakt, almost like a bigger Bhakt than what BJP claims. Now, are these dangerous signs for Congress? Or do you see this as some kind of a reformation process or some kind of, correcting the wrongs which they have done in the past? Because the Congress was accused of minority appeasement, and now they are trying to appease the Hindu majoritarian vote in this manner. So how do you see this process, especially the way in which it's playing out in Chhattisgarh?
Look, as far as Chhattisgarh is concerned, it may work for them. Because as Sunil Saab was saying, they're just 4% minorities and they don't matter much. And what is the option? There is no third force there. There's no third party there. They will not go and vote for the BJP. Right? Here, at least, Baghel is ignoring them. There, they are on the other side, they are victimized. They don't count for anything. Not only do they not count for anything, they are victimized, clearly. So therefore, the choice is between the devil and the deep sea.
Yeah.
And they'll go with the lesser evil. But as far as the Congress party is concerned, it's like, it's a double-edged sword. This formula can succeed and is probably succeeding in Chhattisgarh. But at the national level, I'm not too sure. Because at the national level, the trend at the moment is, and this is purely because of Rahul Gandhi. This is largely because of Rahul Gandhi. Minorities in the Hindi heartland are gravitating towards the Congress because they see in Rahul one person who is consistently, fearlessly, and steadfastly standing up to Mr. Modi and taking on the RSS and the BJP, which no other leader, certainly not Mr. Kamal Nath, certainly not Mr. Baghel, certainly not Akhilesh Yadav, certainly not Mamta. Nobody's doing that.
No, but Javed,
if the Congress has to, allow me to complete my formulation. So if the Congress has to come within a fighting chance, they need a substantial amount of minority votes. And that won't happen with soft Hindutva. Because at the national level, you can't be more Hindutva than the BJP.
BJP. No, but we are seeing a similar kind of a semblance almost playing out in Madhya Pradesh as well. Look at Kamal Nath, what he's doing.
Yes. So that's precisely in these two states. In Madhya Pradesh also, the minority, Sunilji will be able to tell me better, but my percentage of minorities is is not very great. And again, where is the choice? Akhilesh Yadav has gone and put up 79 candidates or 69 candidates.
Right.
I don't even know if 6,900 people know of Akhilesh Yadav in that part. They must have known of the late Mulayam Singh Yadav, but certainly not Akhilesh.
Yes.
So there is no third front. Where is the choice? But there is a choice now in the other states, and they will exercise that choice. If the Congress has to even have, again, at the point of repeating myself, I'll emphasize, if the Congress has to come within, it has to have a fighting chance, it needs a substantial chunk, 80% plus votes of the minorities.
Right.
Otherwise there won't even be a battle.
Right. You were talking about the third front, Javed, and Sunil, I would want to come to you, that there are smaller parties like BSP, Gondwana Gadadhar Party. Then you have an Amit Jogi's Chhattisgarh Janta Congress Jogi. That is also emerging as a third force. Do we really see a third force playing out in Chhattisgarh, or predominantly it's just Congress versus BJP? How do you see this third force working in this mineral-rich state?
Nilu, I'll come to your question in a minute. I need 1 minute to comment on what Javed has just said.
Okay. Yes, sir.
There is a huge difference between Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. In Madhya Pradesh, Congress is in opposition. It doesn't have a responsibility of running a government, and it is not answerable for taking action against communal criminals are not taking action. It is not responsible. It is in opposition. In Chhattisgarh, Bhupesh Baghel is in power in absolute majority, more than majority, almost 2/3. For last 5 years, the same chief minister, same home minister, it cannot shy away from its constitutional responsibility. Forget about secular responsibility, that is one. Another thing I would add very quickly, when it comes down to Rahul Gandhi and his policies and Rahul Gandhi taking head on with communal forces, this is not the Congress Rahul Gandhi represents in Chhattisgarh. It is different. He is member of the same Congress party, but this is not the Congress party. Rahul is so detached from his own party.
No, so are you saying, Sunil, that Bhupesh Baghel's stature is much, much bigger than the Congress's hand symbol? Are you indicating at that fact?
I have been saying this. I have been writing this. Bhupesh Baghel in Chhattisgarh is much bigger, much powerful than the Congress national leadership. I won't narrow it down to Sonia or Rahul or Priyanka. But Bhupesh Baghel certainly is more powerful than national leadership of Congress party in context of Chhattisgarh, in this special context, in this election. That is one. Another thing is what you have asked about a third party, other parties. We should also address the immediate issues. These issues are very much there. These parties are being overlooked by most of the political surveys done by survey agencies, and some channels are media houses. They are not taking any cognizance of. There are 6 outfits. 5 are properly recognized political parties. One is a non-political outfit. They are very much there. They are contesting on 1 or more constituencies. And it is going to change the scenario. I would like to say that the next election outcome, however Bhupesh Baghel has done for farmers, women, students, and many other sections, next election may be decided not by Congress or BJP, but by these forces. How much vote they would take it away from which party, which candidate. It would be totally localized based on constituencies. It won't be a general feature all over the state. It won't be a uniform phenomenon all over the state. But at the same time, all these parties are going to take away some flesh out of voters' count. I want to call it a flesh. So
absolutely,
they are going to take some share away. And probably that may tilt the balance beyond anybody's control. So Congress and BJP, they could be at the mercy of, I want to call it a hung assembly, or I want to call it a third force, because they are fragmented and divided. They are not a combined force. unfortunately.
But one final question to you, Sunil, and then I'll wind up the show. That, the claims by Bhupesh Baghel saying that ab ki baar 75 par. He's claiming that this time is going to be 75 plus seats for the Congress. Does that look like a likelihood, or you see the numbers declining for Congress than what they got in 2018?
Nilu state has gone for 20 seats today, to poll for 20 seats today. 70 seats are remaining for 17th of this month.
Right.
So this morning, several people, they kept on instigating me. What is your feel? What is going to happen on these 20 seats? So I did one small mischief. I posted on Twitter an appeal to all voters that please go out and vote. And as an illustration, I posted this photo, if you could recognize.
Yes.
It is Britannia 50-50.
Okay.
So that is a sort of my soft prediction. It is not hard prediction. It is soft prediction for today's 20 seats.
Okay.
If this can give you any clue, if it be 50-50, BJP has got just one seat, and that too of Dr. Raman Singh.
Right.
Just one seat in 20. He has got one, and if it comes down, BJP goes up to 9 or 10. If Congress comes down to 11 or 10, it would be a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Sadly, it is not going to influence polling on 17th, because counting would be done on 3rd of December.
Right.
But let me tell you very frankly, from 7th to 17th, in these 10 days, we are expecting a lot of turmoil created by ED in this state. And I do not really know if corruption has taken a decisive role in Karnataka, how it would not be effective in Chhattisgarh. So let us see, fingers crossed, we would talk again.
Absolutely. One quick comment from both of you, Professor Dongle and Samir. Professor Dongle, I'll come to you first. So does it also look like a 50-50 battle, as what Sunil was saying in Chhattisgarh, in Mizoram? One quick comment, and then Samir's last comments then. Yeah. You're muted. Professor Dongle, you're muted. And Javed, I'll come to you towards the last, after having taken a comment from Samir.
Even if you don't come to me, listen. We should go to this.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
With regard to Mizoram, as I've said, it is a neck-to-neck fight between ZPM and MNF. And usually in Mizoram, there is never hung assembly. Okay. So it is not expected also this time. But in case if Congress is in the position to cross more than 5 seats, there may be likely chance of hung assembly. If not, it is unlikely. Okay. So let's wait and watch. That's what I can say.
Okay. Yes, Samir, your take?
Yeah, Congress's worst performance in the state was in the last assembly elections, when its number reduced to 5. So I'm quite hopeful this time the number will go up. And so there is very likelihood of a hung assembly. For the first time, Mizoram might see a hung assembly.
Okay.
And then will come into play Mr. Biswa Sarma.
Yeah, and then, but this time, the mood in the state is so anti-BJP. I think BJP will not try to burn their finger there this time.
So it's all going to be a wait and watch game. But of course, it's a very interesting battle playing out in both states, Mizoram and Chhattisgarh. But yes, second phase is left for Chhattisgarh to go to polls on 17th. So we'll wait and watch. And of course, the final results on 3rd of December. Thank you so much, Javed Ansari, Professor Dongle, Sunil Kumar. It was wonderful having you on the program. Samir, thank you so much. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this entire discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal. Thank you.